Welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Yes, we are. And this is a very, very off the beaten path type of episode we're doing here.
Way off the path.
We are joined by our old high school coach, Christian Freeland. Coach Freeland, you still with us?
I am still with you.
All right.
Glad to be here.
All right. And we're not really going to be talking a lot of sports betting. We're going to be going down old memory lane here because it is the 20th anniversary of Lynch's championship game, a game that you coached in, and our brother was the point guard for that
2003
team.
Lynch Eagles won the state tournament in D2 in the Nebraska State Tournament.
Yeah, just a phenomenal run, the rise to it, the crescendo, the whole thing. It was a fun ride, and that had to be quite the moment for you, Coach.
It definitely was. I have really enjoyed. I spent 12 years up in Lynch. My wife was a kindergarten teacher. I had 3 kids graduate from there. Lynch definitely holds a dear place in my heart.
All right. Me too. So I think what Jared kind of had lined up here is we wanted to go through the top 15 players throughout your era, your 12 years there. And I think we wanted to start with some honorable mentions. And a lot of these names are guys that didn't get to play a full 4 seasons with you, okay?
I understand that. I understand that. I'll try and give you back some memories, and bear with me because this might bring some tears to my eyes.
Okay,
in a good way.
For sure.
In a good way.
No, I gotcha. So what we're going to start out with is my freshman team would be the 2 that come to mind are Dustin Black and Clay Klassen. They both had postseason honors when they played for you as sophomores, and then, as we know, Dustin Black went on to become the 4,000-point scorer in your era. So that is a pretty big thing to do. And then they also had a state tournament appearance in 2010.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about that because when I left in Lynch in 08-09.
Yes, sir.
Was my last year, right? 08 was my last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it was a really tough decision by my part.
Yeah.
And in those 2 years, we developed a team down in Dundee County Stratton that made it to state too.
Yeah.
So I felt going down there that I felt that I had 2 teams down there.
Yeah, double dipping them.
I was double dipping. I was very excited. I actually had went and picked up some tape and was listening on the side of the road because I was losing reception to that district final game.
Yeah.
So I was just excited as if I would have been there, and I texted a lot of people after the game. I was really excited for those guys, and I knew those kids would do it.
Yeah.
As a coach, you always go down the list of what games you're going to win and what games you're going to lose. And I left Lynch with the exact same record as my first year.
Yeah.
I think we were 4-16 or 4-17. But the difference was with those guys, I knew we were losing those games with freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you remember, Joe Machonic was my lone senior.
Yep.
I had a sophomore start, and 2 sophomore start, and 2 freshmen start, and then a freshman coming off the bench.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I knew Dustin Black and Clay Klassen. Clay Klassen might be one of the toughest kids I've ever coached.
Yeah.
He just kind of had, and I've coached a lot of tough kids,
but
Clay was just hard-nosed.
Yes.
And I go back from football. Well, he took the hardest hit I've ever seen a kid take. He just got back up. Okay, I'm all right. So I'm like, no, you're not playing anymore.
Yeah.
But I think those 2 are definitely very deserving of an honorable mention.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and I agree with Clay. I have Dustin saved for another spot. And you made mention of Joe Machonic. I think we got to give Joe some love, too.
You got to give him the nod.
He was the original tractor trailer before tractor trailer was a thing. So got to mention old Joe there.
He's the enforcer.
Just run up. What?
So can I tell a quick story about that?
Yeah,
sure.
Get it out.
Okay. So Big Joe Machonic, people listening know that I had quite a few technicals in Lynch. And that was kind of the whole thing. I got 13 in my first year and 11 in my second year, and then I kind of calmed down and, one or two after that. And I think I've gotten one since I've been down here at Dundee County Stratton. But
going soft.
Joe Mashotic owns my best technical I've ever gotten. Joe Mashotic, Joe's a big guy.
Oh yeah.
He's about 6'2", and at that time he probably was pushing 280.
Same weight right now.
What's that?
Same weight right now as he is.
Yeah, I bet he probably hasn't changed much.
No, he hasn't.
And he's still got a good sense of humor, and he still loves cars.
No doubt.
And so anyway, a kid's dribbling the ball. Joe is standing there. The kid runs into him and falls backwards. Joe doesn't move. The ball, unfortunately, rolled to me, which I happened to pick up and was holding it.
Yeah.
Why they called the foul on Joe. And I said, how the heck can you call a foul on Mashotic?
Held his ground.
Standing there planted like a tree.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, it's got to be something. I said, well, how about a travel?
Yeah.
Or it's a loose ball, because physics says that if a smaller object meets a bigger object, the smaller object is going to bounce backwards.
That is true. That he is going to lose.
I've been on the wrong side of that a lot earlier in my career. I can remember that Zeisler kid from Butte. He actually picked me up when I was holding the ball. He just grabbed the ball and picked me and the ball up. What a son of a bitch. They didn't call a foul there.
They didn't call
What's
a
up
foul
with
there.
that?
What the hell?
No foul there. I remember that too now.
All right, let's move up the list a little bit. We got a Carson double here, Coach. Wasey Carson from the 07 team, 16-7 record, earned postseason honors in 07. And then we got Tyler Carson in 04, postseason honors as a senior, state semifinalist, and selected to the MVC All-Star game.
Well, and Tyler went on to play college basketball at
Curtis.
Yes,
sir.
Nebraska Technical College.
Yes, sir.
I can remember that too. But Tyler definitely, from the land of Redbird.
Yep.
Both of them are from the land of Redbird. But Tyler, I think benefited from playing with his classmates and got better. And those kids spent a lot of time, unlike Andy's class, going to little kids tournaments.
Yeah, no doubt.
And, I mean, because I took him to a lot of tournaments.
Yep.
And and so Tyler definitely developed himself into an outside shooter, and I think worthy of honorable mention.
Yeah.
Wasey, on the other hand, is that what you said, Wasey?
Yeah, Wasey, one of my running mates.
Wasey, you want to talk about a kid that had worked his tail off to become where he was. By the time I think he was a senior, he was the second leading scorer and the second leading rebounder on his team.
Yep.
And kind of really developed himself into a force down low.
Yep.
And, outside of Nate Eilers and Ben King, we always had the land of the undersized post.
Yep.
And I would say he fit that bill pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
Wasn't a great outside shooter, but worked as smart and worked his position to get the rebound and scored a lot of garbage buckets. So
no doubt.
Well deserving of honorable mention.
For sure. And he's one of the best charge takers besides Noah Nelson that I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
So had to throw that little bit in there.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot about that. He was so excited about postseason awards.
Yep.
Getting the charge card award.
Yep.
For taking the most charges in the season. Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Jared.
Yes, sir. All right. We'll move up the list again. We're going to go with a couple guys from 2000, Andy's senior class, and then 99, Andy's junior year. We got Ben Nelson, a senior on the squad that went 11-9. That was the first winning season in 25 years for the Lynch Eagles. And then we got Brandon Black, a senior on the 99 team, a 7-14 record, earned postseason honors, and obviously got selected to the MVC All-Star game.
And I also insert myself there because we're kind of running mates, so I like this myself as an honorable mention. I think my postseason award was the Hustle Trophy. And I don't know if they're, it's an honor, but that also means you weren't the guy making it happen, making the passes, getting real stats. But I felt we did accomplish a lot, and we set the stage for the next generation. And obviously, we couldn't have done that without Brandon. And Ben Nelson was our shooter outside when Nate wasn't lighting it up later on.
He was, and I think looking back, you have to write things up, and I didn't mean to like it sounded in the paper, and you're kind of apologizing, but I thought we would go a long ways if the sharpshooter Ben Nelson was there.
Yeah,
and he was there. I mean, Andy, you're exactly right, and Brandon Black played a huge part in that too. I mean, just because my first year coaching, and I'll take Andy back a little bit. We're getting ready for sub-districts, and I have kids, and I'm not going to mention names, but they said, "Hey, Coach, when are we going to lower the hoops?" We had those two blue side hoops, those portable baskets.
Yep.
What do you mean lower the hoops? He goes, "Well, Coach Barry usually let us play dunk ball for the last time." And so getting the buy-in that we're going to change the culture to a winning culture. And, of course, everybody gets to remember their things the old way, but I can still remember that. I'm like, what? I'm shaking my head going, no, we're going to play it on making postseason wins.
Right.
And, in fact, we did. Andy, I think that was the first postseason win. Didn't we? I think we beat Santee, and then I can't remember who we beat by in sub-district finals.
Yeah, it was Butte.
It was Butte again.
A nail biter. Yep. But
no. Thanks for bringing that up. We should. In fact, I actually thought, because we had such a tough schedule, that I thought, and Wausau ended up getting state runner-up, which I thought we should have been. Could have been there, because we'd beat Butte by 14 earlier.
Yep.
Right.
That time was the first time since 1968 that we beat Butte.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, there were some highs there that with our senior class there in the year 2000, and Jared already mentioned it, the first winning season in basketball in 25 years. I was proud of that, obviously. I do believe we kind of helped set the stage for the success to come. And I remember the shift where it wasn't jam ball anymore. We're going to play on 10-foot hoops. And it was kind of cheesy, but I loved it. It really fit my mindset, because I'm kind of a go-getter. But do you remember during practice, you would always play Twisted Sister, We're Not Going to Take It?
Yep.
You remember that?
I did, because, that was kind of the mindset. And there's a reason why I had so many dang technicals. It's because the officials that came in thought this is going to be an easy game. We're just going to run up the floor, and Lynch is going to get destroyed.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the way it was.
It was. Everybody knew that was the script, and that's the way it was. And it takes a lot to change that tide, to shift that tide. It really does. And obviously, Coach, you're a big part of that. And I felt our class kind of, followed in what you were saying. And moving up this list of honorable mentions. You only had them for 1 year, but Josh Eilers and Waylon Strom, they were part of that old school, like to have fun.
I can still remember. We added on to with 32 games when we started the season, 32 game losing streak.
Whoa!
And we added 5 more games, our 30-game losing streak. We added 7.
Whoa!
And then beat O'Neill St. Mary's at the Stuart Holiday tournament. I can still remember him throwing me in the damn shower.
Yeah. Everybody was so happy to win a game.
Yes, they were just so happy to win a game.
We were.
It was fun. And we beat Kepaha that year, and we beat St. Mary's, and I think we combined for 4 wins, which was 4 more wins. I think they had 1 previously in their career.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, combine that. And I think if Josh and Waylon, obviously Waylon had a mindset as a winner in track, because he was
the best ever. Yep.
Yeah.
Mile and 2 mile. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Josh was a deadeye from the corner.
He was.
Yeah.
And if we could have got him to use a little bit more of his athleticism, which we all know the Eilers have, I mean, it's just, it's just,
yes.
Larry Eiler's produced some very athletic kids.
For sure.
Yep.
And I always said, if I think I would have them for 6 years, I think, of course, I always think the glass is half full anyway. And I thought we could be. Also, I gotta mention this too, because I still talk about this kid, Mika Savalainen.
There you go. I was going to say Mika has to get a nod here, right?
That's Nyler's as well, I would say.
Yeah.
He was the best practice player I've ever had. I mean, that kid didn't miss, but when it came time to a game, he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Didn't translate.
And he still holds he's the only foreigner that's ever started a game for me.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Shout out Mika.
Yep, Mika gets the honorable mention nod. I like
for sure.
I like it a lot.
Hey, let's break into this third team, Coach. At number 5 on the third team is my point guard from my senior year. It's Chance Thompson. Like I said, his sophomore season, 16-7 season. His freshman season was a 9-11 season. And then he had postseason honors in 2008 and was selected to the All-Star game his senior year after you left. So he's a 4-year starter, 3-year starter for you on a team that was kind of built already, and it didn't matter. This young kid was going to play no matter what.
And I can't say enough about that kid.
Yeah.
First of all, he was always in shape, and he had so much guts.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely looked up to his players before him and knew what was coming.
Yep.
And like I said, I thought with Chance's senior year, I thought they were going to be 17-5, and I thought Dustin Black's team was going to be about 22-2.
Dang.
And I didn't know where those 2 losses were going to come. But, things happen, but they still made it to the state tournament. But I think Chance Thompson, just wanting to win, his will to win, and I think that has a lot to do, just like Andy, changing the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I mean, he gave everything he had. And like I said, the worst thing in my life so far was in that locker room telling those boys that
you were leaving. Yep. No.
And, it broke my heart.
Yep.
And like I said, I think when I retire, I'm probably going to end up down by the Sunshine Bottom.
There we go.
All right.
We'll see you there.
Shout out Sunshine Bottom.
We'll see you there.
I had Dustin Black in that 5 spot, 1,000-point scorer. I know he only played 1 real season with you with the injury, but he was just a phenomenal athlete. He had time with you, and also, as you mentioned, when he was just a little shaver, a little guy, he was in those workouts, those off-season camps and things of that nature. So I have Dustin Black as my number 5 third team, even though he only really had 1 season there with you, Coach.
For sure.
Well, I think you have to give him that. I was kind of surprised that Chance didn't have over 1,000 points for his career.
Yeah.
He had to be pretty close, didn't he?
I'm sure he was, but it is a hard feat, and you can't take any away from those 4 guys that did it, because that's crazy. That's a crazy amount of points.
Yeah,
right.
We'll ask Chance over the weekend.
I would add this too, because everybody looks at points, but Dustin loved to play offense, not so much defense.
Yeah, for sure. He's a slacker. Yeah, Chance is one of our better defenders as well. So get D off there. That guy's not playing defense.
He's on there for me.
And my number 4, I want to move up the list a little bit and talk about one of the best defenders that I've ever had the chance to play with, and that is Colby Carson. After the state championship year, Matt, Nate, Seth, Nate, everybody's gone. Matt's left to, kind of pick up the pieces. His running mate, his senior year, was Colby Carson, and we did not give up that winning record. We had a winning record as me coming in as a sophomore that season, 12-9. Really, really proud of that. Colby Carson, obviously, 05 postseason honors, selected to the MVC All-Star game, but what I really remember about that season is you had 3 undeveloped sophomores in the starting lineup, and Colby Carson was asked to guard the best player every game so Matt could, run the offense.
Well, and I still say we should have made it to at least district final that year.
Yeah.
Because I think we got didn't come out on the right outcome when we played Stewart, and Stewart had beat us pretty soundly.
We almost had him.
And we had him.
Yep.
We did. I can remember starting out that season, going back to that, and Matt throwing a pass, rifling a pass across and I can't remember what sophomore it was, but hit him right in the nose.
It was probably me.
Well, okay, I didn't want to mention names, but
yeah,
yes, it was you,
I'll take the fall. So,
but Colby, I tell you what, you want to talk about someone that I can count on to lock people down.
Yeah.
And Colby always drew the toughest player, always undersized. Mm-hmm. He was always guarding someone center, their best player, and he just did a great job. I mean, he even gave those other ones fits by playing defense.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got to give it. And plus, I just got that dolphin with the guy.
Howdy made it to Binkelman.
St. Mary's
or
North Platte St. Pat's.
Yep.
I don't want to give a shout out to, but his kids are probably going to go there, and so hopefully I'm not coaching against them.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
Nope. Shout out Colby. Howdy.
Yep. All right, moving on up. I think we both have Derek Rehonick, number 3 there on the third team. Postseason honors, Norfolk Daily News honorable mention, selected the NVC All-Star Game.
Yeah,
all those things. NVC honorable mention and a Seminole Finest, and he was also part of a team that went 22-4.
Yeah,
nothing to sneeze at. Senior season went 16-7, and he was an integral part of that team as well.
Yeah, no, probably the best player I've ever seen from the left side of the lane. Wouldn't you agree, Coach?
Well, probably the second
best. Okay, yeah.
but yeah, I would say
just because he was left-handed is what I'm saying.
Yes, right. And he definitely could. I mean, it was all left-handed, but he was very athletic.
Yeah,
I mean, he could run, he could jump, and I thought he also played with some pretty good kids in your class.
Yeah,
with Bryce King and you and Derek and Wasey and
yes, sir. Josh Smith. Yep.
There was one more that I'm thinking of.
Well, we'll probably run into him up the list here.
Yeah, Chance Thompson. Yep.
Chance Thompson was the 6th guy.
So, shout out Derek. I'm moving up to number 2 on the third team, and I have to put my oldest brother, Andy Klassen, 2000 senior, 11-9 record, like we said, first winning season in 25 years, postseason honors in 1999 and 2000, also selected to that MVC All-Star Game.
Woo! I have Chance Thompson there at that 2 spot, but
yeah.
Well, I think all these kids can be interchangeable.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Integral parts. And,
for sure.
Andy, again, was a hard-nosed kid.
Yep.
Would get things done when he needed to get it done. I mean, he'd go 100%.
Yeah.
He'd go 100 mile an hour, and sometimes he wouldn't get the call maybe because he was undersized a lot. And, you ran some horses in Spencer that would block his shot. It would get fouled, but there was no call because.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Mindset, not just of our kids, but everybody else.
Yep.
But I can always count on him making a right-hand land from the right side. And by the time he was a senior, he was automatic at that. But, I mean, when I got there, he was 5'6" and maybe weighed 105 pounds. And he'd go back to football practice with Coach Hart. He'd take on the toughest guys, and he didn't shy away from anything.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Peru State Bobcat football player. So we got a college football player on the list. Moving up to number 1 on the third team, it's my partner in crime, Bryce King. King Bing, senior year, 16-7, MVC honorable mention, Huskerland Gilson, Class D2 6-man award. Selected the MVC All-Star Game, and he did play minutes with those good teams when we were freshmen as well. You could throw him in minutes, and obviously when we were sophomores, he was a huge part of that team as well.
Yeah, and
he was automatic. From the corner, and one of my favorite memories. And remember, I did not put his name out here on the air. I would not do that.
Yeah,
that's somebody else. But I can remember the St. Mary's where they came into our place. They were just supposed to kill us.
Yep.
And we were ahead by 2, playing hard, and all of a sudden, Bryce hits 5 threes in a row.
Yep.
And Gary Kowal is coaching St. Mary's, and he takes 2 timeouts and shouts it out loud that you got to guard this.
Yeah,
kid.
What are you doing?
Yep.
Why are you collapsing on Klassen? All he's going to do is throw it to the corner. He's done it 3 times in a row. He's going to do it again. They come out. We run the same play. I get in the middle of the defense, kick it out to King. Cush.
Yes.
Yeah, and he went nuts.
He definitely loved to score.
Yeah.
And, he played tough defense when he had to.
Yeah, for sure.
If you didn't have to play defense, he would rather. But again, when you can score like that,
yeah.
I guess you can do that.
Yeah, when you can shoot like that, that's what you're there to do for sure. King's Corner.
Coach Crop's old adage was, if you can score more points than the guy you're guarding, then you've done your job.
There you go.
All right.
That's King always did that for sure.
That's the Carmelo Anthony
did.
Adage there. Yes. Yeah. He would pour in 29 and his defender would get 24.
There's what it is.
I had Ross Nielsen at that spot. Okay. Like you said, you can interchange it, but he averaged 8 points, 4 rebounds, solid stat line, NBC All-Star game, 3-time state qualifier, part of a lot of really good teams there.
Yeah.
So I had Ross on the number 1 spot there on the third team. I had Bryce bumped up.
Yeah.
To second team because that's all those honorable mentions.
Yeah,
his ability to shoot and just the teams that he was on and the impact he had. That's why I had Bryce on my second team
for sure. And like we said, these guys are all interchangeable, and we're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings here. We're just really trying to promote the 12 years that Freeland was here, and the people and the relationships that everybody made, and the really good teams that we had. With the second team, my fifth guy is Ross Nielsen. Like you said, an 04 postseason honors, part of a state semifinalist team, part of the state championship team. Like you said, he was he's kind of a catalyst when we need him to.
Yep.
That senior year, if Seth would get in trouble, Freeland.
Well, there's a kid that had really made himself into a basketball player.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a football player, went up to Minnesota West and played football.
For sure.
Went up there and got to watch him play a couple times. And he was very fast. He was very athletic. And by the time the senior year rolled around, because he was like the seventh man on his junior year, and his senior year, he turned into a starter. And there was some games that he would single-handedly shoot the other team out of it.
Yeah.
Just kind of like what you did with Bryce, was drive down the lane and kick it.
For sure.
And Ross was there to hit a three. I can remember our district finals with Sargent.
Yep.
And they were, really good. They're going to beat us, and it was like 26-4 at the end of the first quarter. And
yes, sir.
That time couldn't tick down fast enough because they never got it under 20 after that.
Nope.
We got a lot of playing time.
Yep, no doubt. No, yeah, Ross did develop into a really good three-point shooter, I thought, especially in his senior year. It was a lot of fun to watch that team.
And the other thing, too, is he developed into a good defender.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
He used his strength really well, and like I said, just another hard-nosed kid.
Yeah.
I can remember, he carried the ball, I think, 50 times in one football game.
Yeah. Definitely one of the best football players on this list, for sure.
Yeah, yes. But, and again, making himself into a basketball player and helping his team. And, I think he still lives up in the Lynch area, doesn't he? And farms up there.
No doubt.
Has about 15 kids.
Yep. He's still there. He'll be listening to this, I guarantee it. So that's it. That's who I had number 5. At number 4 on the second team, I got one of the best defenders to ever come out of Lynch High School, and that is Noah Nelson. 03 state championship, obviously honorable mention All-State. 03 Norfolk Daily News honorable mention, NBC honorable mention. Lincoln Journal Star, honorable mention, and NBC honorable mention as a junior as well. So this guy's got quite the, accolades, and he really deserved them.
If I was ranking intelligent players, Noah might be the most intelligent player I've ever coached.
There you go.
Yeah, he played a big role on my team when I was a senior.
Yeah, for sure.
And all you would use him for was to get him in there, put him on whoever was going on a run, lever, whoever, and just frustrate the hell out of him. And he would.
Yeah,
that was his.
Would.
And so he was putting in some really meaningful minutes as a freshman.
Yep.
And his job was to go in there and aggravate the other guy. Talk to him, get your hands on him, whatever you got to do. And yeah, I don't know if anybody could get under the skin as well as Noah. Maybe Ben. If Ben had his mind made up.
If Ben had his mind up, maybe he could.
But yeah, he just had I remember one game that we were playing Butte, and the lever kid that was mentioned almost I took a swing at Noah.
Yep.
And was so damn so frustrated that he was like, "Why are you playing defense on me?"
Yeah.
And I can still remember that. I mean, back in my head. Of course, the rest didn't see stuff like that.
For sure.
No. Yeah. Well, Noah shouldn't have been there.
Yep. Noah shouldn't have been there.
Lever's fist was there.
I remember in a Loomis game at the state tournament, and it just sticks in my mind, was like one of the best falls of his shot. He shot a 3-pointer. He missed it. The guy from Loomis didn't check out. He falls and gets a layup.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He played that entire weekend with a terribly sprained ankle.
Yeah.
And so I guess I got to put him in that toughness category too.
You got to.
You know,
Yeah.
no one knew who to get the ball to, when to get the ball to.
Yep.
And definitely, I think deserves to be where he's at.
No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. Moving up the list, we have another guy from the Bristow area, Joe Spencer, 03 honorable mention All-State, 04 postseason honors as well, averaging 10.5 points, 5.8 rebounds as a senior, selected to the MVC All-Star Game.
Yeah.
Like we said, state champ, semifinalist, and state qualifier as a sophomore as well.
Can't say enough about Joe Spencer. I thought when competition makes you better, you sharpen steel with steel. I thought Joe did that with that state championship team and then Seth's senior team. He really made Noah the best player Noah could be, I felt. Noah Nelson with that competition in mind.
Yeah.
And then he really took over. I felt like late in his junior year, he was just on another level, and that continued throughout his senior year. I don't know if you win as many games. I know you don't win as many games without a Joe Spencer.
No, I tell you what, looking at this list, I don't know if you couldn't bump him up to first team.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can make that argument.
Definitely can make that argument.
That kid, and he's a year young. I mean, for his class.
He is Matt's age. He is Matt's age.
Matt's class.
Yep.
Which I think we could have made another run had I had him one more year.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yes, it would have, because he, just like you said, Andy, he really came on his junior year.
Yeah.
Started all 3 games his junior year. There's another kid. I called him a ball hawker.
Yeah.
Because he had a knack to get his hand on balls.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And, he would knock a loose ball out of their hands and get the rebound, and you're like, how did that just happen?
Yeah.
And then he'd find some way to score. I mean, he would get in some grooves that it was like, gosh, this kid's fun to watch play.
Yeah, he averaged 11 points his senior year.
Yeah, and that's on a team with the scoring of Matt and Seth Aidenfeld. So 10.5 points a game.
Matt and Nate on that team.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of passing.
There's not a lot of ball left.
You're down average double digits.
Yeah.
You're doing a pretty damn good job.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So
shout out Joe.
I think Joe would definitely. He was one of those guys that I was so dang proud of how he developed as a player.
Yeah.
And how he took on leadership role, and then again, I'm with you. That he was a year behind, so I could have had him with that next group too.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You got to give Joe the love. He's one of the best players in Lynch High School history. So
let's go with the 01 senior here.
The 01 senior here.
Yep.
Let's go with. Okay, so
moving up the list on second team.
Yep, we got Zach Wayner. 01 senior, 10-12 as a senior, made the final round of sub-districts with the revenge win over Butte. They had beat us in those spots the past 2 seasons with Andy's senior year and the year before that as well. Obviously, a big part of Andy's senior year as well with the 11-9 record, postseason honors 99, 2000, 01, and obviously selected to the MVC All-Star Game.
And Zach was such a huge part of all my teams, too.
Yeah.
Without Zach, we wouldn't have been able to get that first winning season under our belt in 25 years. Kind of a glue guy, locker room guy that was just, friends with everybody. But he also had a mean streak to him. So I think Wayner's deserves being one of the top spots here on the second team.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And again, going back to that left-hander, probably the best left-hander that's played in.
There you go.
In Lynch.
Throw a wicked slider.
Yeah.
And let's give a little shout out because he just won the state baseball championship at Malcolm.
There we go.
Definitely one of the best baseball players.
Yes.
In Lynch history. Watching him pitch was a joy, and got to give a shout out to his dad too. Taught so many people how to play baseball along with our dad for so many years, making trips in that big yellow van to every baseball field around the area. So you got to give a shout out to Bruce. Got to give a big shout out to Zach. What a good player, and definitely probably the best baseball player on this list.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another kid that could have been a year younger, a different grade below.
Right.
And I remember him coming back.
Yeah.
Freshman year, he played football in Midland.
Yep.
And he came back, and we played in a town team in Butte. And I'm throwing alley-oop passes at the kid. This kid's
Yep.
Right. I'm like,
Yeah.
where was this kid last year?
Yep.
That's another one that just gave everything he had. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
And played hard and worked his tail off.
Yep.
Took his God-given talent and made the most out of it.
Yep.
And what a great kid. I mean, you couldn't ask enough out of that kid. And he gave it all. Just like this whole list, I can't think of one bad thing to say about any of these kids.
Oh,
Yep.
I can.
Yeah, I can. You're not friends with these guys. You're their coach.
You don't know.
Yeah, I got a list here if you want me to email it to you later.
But you make a great.
I'm sure. Because I'm going to hear stories from Seth and Matt.
Yeah,
like, what do you mean that happened? What are you talking about? I don't even hear about this.
Well, not those two.
I thought I ran a pretty tight ship.
Yeah. Especially with those two.
You mentioned it when we mentioned, Noah Nelson, Joe Spencer. We're kind of getting into the nitty gritty now.
Yeah.
And I think this might be where we have our first big disagreement.
Yeah.
And that's the final top spot of the second team versus the fifth spot on the top five.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Jared, go ahead and who do you got here?
Well, for sure, I had Zach at my number one spot on second team, but I had Shane Klassen as the last second teamer. Our middle brother, probably the smoothest Klassen that there is. Smartest one probably as well, but had the running mates of likes of Nate Eilers, Seth Haydenfeld, Matt Haydenfeld, Joe Spencer, Noah Nelson. But you can't take anything away from this guy. 03 honorable mention, All-State, Norfolk Daily News honorable mention, MVC honorable mention, junior year Lincoln Journal Star honorable mention, MVC second team as a junior, Andy, and then Norfolk Daily News honorable mention as well. Two-time state qualifier, 03 champ, obviously. And made it that magical junior year as well.
Yeah. I would take it a step further. Shane was such an important part as a true point guard.
Yeah.
He allowed everyone to be at their best, and for that reason, this is my biggest disagreement. I would say. I actually have your boy Matt Haydenfeld here. I flipped them with Shane. I have Shane up on the top five, and you can't say it like you're splitting hairs here.
Yeah.
Matt Haydenfeld with 182 career threes, ranked 65th in the state, three-time state qualifier. I mean, averaged 22 points, 10 rebounds his senior year. First team All-State, all those things. So you really can't say a bad thing about any of these last few guys that we're going to get into.
Yeah,
here.
for sure. Why don't you give us a spiel on your captain there, Shane Klassen, Coach?
Okay, well, I think you go back and listen to that state game, and one thing that caught my eye or my ear was they called him a water bug.
Yeah,
and he was. I mean, he was all over, especially in that state championship game.
Yeah.
They didn't even know which way was up.
No.
He came from out of bounds after scoring a layup, and they threw it in, and he stole it again.
Yeah.
He made a pass to Matt, who missed it, but he made the two layups.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Shane was very bent up about that assist that he lost.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Shane was one of the smallest of the boys coming in as freshman.
Yeah.
And he got some playing time. It was tough because when he'd get trapped, it would usually be a turnover. But he learned from that. He became a coach on the court for me.
Yeah.
Especially his senior year. And he definitely, we could talk basketball all the time, and I just absolutely had a hit for the game.
Yeah.
And definitely made that team run. And if you needed to score, he'd score. If you needed to make a pass, he'd make a pass.
Yeah.
If you needed to get a steal, he'd get a steal. Again, I think a lot of these people are interchangeable. I don't rank these guys. These are all equal in my heart.
Yeah.
And I try and touch base with and talk to a lot of them through Facebook and text messages still or phone calls, and I absolutely enjoy every minute one of my players talk to me. I talk to Shane at state basketball every year. Sit with this kid. Get a listen to Henry every once in a while.
No doubt.
Oh, Henry's got it figured out.
Henry's got it figured out. The second coming.
Ironically, Matt and Shane are coaching Henry's team.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Of course.
I absolutely love it.
Passing on the knowledge.
Yep, and that's where I'm at with it. You can't undersell a point guard and what that means to a team, and I think that does get lost in a lot of modern day society where you just want to see dunks, you want to see threes, you want to see this and that. I felt Shane really took that team to another level with what you're talking about, being a coach on the court. It's kind of a cliche, but it's so true when you have that in your back pocket, and he could score. There was a couple games there where Seth was banged up, and I think he poured in 18, 17 points in those couple of games there. At the state game, he cashed a three. You're going to leave me open? All right, there you go. So, I mean, what you needed him to do, he could do it, and he could do it so smoothly, and Waterbug was a good term to use. But he did that his entire career. I remember that little 5th grade, 4th grade tournament that Dad and Bruce were coaching, and Shane was just causing fits in Stewart, and I mean, just running around, stealing the ball, dribbling circles around him. He wasn't, he was still tiny, shorter than this table, for sure, but he was causing fits. So that's why I got.
So I'll go a step further. We took them down to, when they were in junior high, we took them down to Hastings, Nebraska to play in this big tournament. And we're playing Hershey, Nebraska, which I think ended up at the state tournament that year too.
Yep.
And I can just remember their point guard was 6'1".
Yeah.
And we had Nate, I think it was 5'9" at that time. And we thought we were pretty good. Noah was 5'9". Of course, he didn't grow a whole lot after that. But anyway, I can just remember chasing the ball time and time again on this kid. And running our press action. And Shane did a really good job of anticipating. And again, he did a lot of off-season work to make himself better and definitely got the most out of his ability, too.
Yep, no doubt. All right, should we crack into your top 5?
Let's crack into the top 5. At number 5, none other than Jabron. Jared Klassen. Kind of corny saying my own stuff, so if you take it away, Andy.
Led the team in scoring, and a talented team at that. We already talked about Rehonic and King, but over 13 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, couple steals, 3 assists, so kind of a Jokic-type stat line there. He was first team AP All-State, made the NDN Elite 8 and NVC first team, selected to NVC All-Star Game, of course. Season before, averaged 17 points and was a second team. Honorable mention in the Omaha World Herald. Huskerland also had him as an honorable mention. Lincoln Journal-Star and Norfolk Daily News, of course they did. And I didn't get to see all those games because I was in college, but I kept an eye on it. And Jared was the straw that stirred the drink, Coach. And he wasn't afraid to pass. He wasn't afraid to score. Whatever you needed him to do, he was one of those versatile guys that could just get it done. And unlike Shane and I, he actually had the length and maybe even a nicer shot, way nicer shot than me, that he could put it in.
Yeah, there was definitely some height on your mom's side of the family, and Jared got that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can still remember the first time he went up and dunked the ball, and he went up and dunked that with ease.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, he can put on a human highlight reel, and definitely was the team leader his senior and junior year. He really stepped up, and again, I think that has a lot to do with building the culture.
Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
And definitely we had our chances and had a good record again. And Jared, another tough kid and very athletic, and I think he learned from his older brothers. Usually the little one gets beat up by the older ones, and I think that helped him become a little tougher. And
and don't get caught. Don't get caught. That's the number one thing I try to teach him.
Don't get caught.
There you go.
Yeah, I did foul a lot.
Definitely probably started the era where Coach Freeland got a little softer.
Yeah.
So I had Shane Matt basically at 5 there.
Yep.
Jared, I had you at 4. Let's hear your 4.
My 4 is Andy's ringleader and probably the most athletic person to ever step foot inside of Lynch High School, and that is Benjamin King. Senior year averaged over 22 points, 10 rebounds, second team All-State. Like we said, senior year, 11-9, first winning season in 25 years, selected to the MVC All-Star Game, postseason honors as a junior and sophomore as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, he played when he was a freshman as well. This guy was a 4-year starter, I believe. And if there's an honor, Ben King has it in the books of Lynch High School.
Yeah, and he should have it. Without Ben King, my teams wouldn't have been. I don't think we would have amounted to much.
Yeah.
And he was probably. You say that, and I get to thinking about it, and you're probably right because he ran around a 10.5, 11-second 100-meter dash.
Yep.
He would win the shot put at every track meet and discus. It was unbelievable what he could. He would run the 800 with us, so we could do the 2-mile relay, make it to state in that. He was a phenomenal athlete, and that's a joke. That is a total joke that he's second team this, second team that, and that's what I'm talking about, breaking through. Like I don't think, and I'm not trying to get up on a high horse here or a soapbox.
Yeah.
But without the likes of Ben King, bursting down that door, I don't think we see as many first teamers, 4 years later, 3 years later, and things of that nature. But it takes a talent like Ben King to really make that happen.
Put the spotlight on it.
It does. And I mean, I already talked about it. Coach, one more story about myself here. I remember we got that new little shooting contraption with the big nets. You remember that thing?
Yep, the shoot away.
The shoot away. and we're doing all these shots from the elbow, 15-foot jump shots. And I think I bricked like 4 or 5 in a row. And you actually asked me, like, do you need glasses? And you were serious. I'm like, no, I'm just a terrible shot. Okay,
I'm just not good at it.
I'm just bad. Right? And that's how good Ben King was. He could take a point guard like me, and I probably shouldn't have even been the point guard.
Yeah.
But propel us to our first winning season in 25 years. So big tip of the cap there to the big man, Ben King.
Well, okay, so I'm going to tell you a story that no one's ever heard.
Oh.
Here we go.
WTL exclusive.
Yep.
You got another beer?
I thought Ben King, and of course, the more you get, the farther you get, the more recognition you get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
Players. So if you make it state tournament, they're going to automatically put that kid on there because they made the state tournament. Ben King, just like Andy said, was probably pound for pound the best athlete that's ever graduated from Lynch.
Yeah.
And he played 4 years at Hastings, and I think started 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I remember he had a horrific broken leg or ankle or something like that.
Yeah.
He played through that. But
courtesy of a Doane lineman. Doane.
Yeah.
Yep. There we go. I'll drop names.
So anyway, I thought Ben King was so worthy of these honors.
Yeah.
That I wrote a letter to every coach in the state of Nebraska, every basketball coach in the state of Nebraska, and sent and why I listed stats and everything, and why this kid deserved to get on all state teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, just like what you said, trying to break the cycle of losing to where other people saw us as a formidable foe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've talked with Coach Carlson about this over and over again, and we unbeknownst to a lot of people from Lynch, we'd spend about every Wednesday together during confirmation season, and we'd watch film together. And of course, he's a hell of a lot smarter guy than I am. I would pick up some things from here and there, and Ben King, could do it all. He could shoot a 3-pointer. He could play down low. He could play point guard if he had to. But he was just a force to handle. He was. I remember seeing him the first time we moved up to Lynch. I'm thinking, God, that's a big senior.
Here we go.
I'm hoping he's just a junior.
Load it up.
He's going to be a freshman.
Yeah. You're hoping he's a junior, so you get 1 year with him. He's a friggin' 8th grader, and he's going to become a freshman. So that is really cool. And he's a descendant of maybe the best scorer of all time from Lynch High School, Blake King. So
there we go.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree with Blake, Ben, and Bryce.
Yep.
Yeah.
They can put.
And I don't know about any of those records. They didn't keep records.
Mm-hmm.
So those, I asked people to call in and see what they have.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think someone had told me that Blake had scored 50 points in a game, but I could just never verify it.
I know it was over 50. That's that's what everybody says, and that's what I tell everybody anyways.
I was so terrible for Ben, and he still averaged 23 points. In the first quarter of the Ewing game, his senior year, he averaged 23 points, and we're running a 1-3-1 zone, And I look to my left, look to my right, and nobody's in their spots. So I just start backpedaling. Well, Ben gets to his spot, and I just break his nose. You remember that? With the back of my head. It hurt my head.
Yeah.
But it smashed his nose, blood all over the court, and then he was out for the rest of the game. And at that point, it's still in the first quarter, he only had like 9 points or something at that point.
Yeah, he only had 9 points, only played 40 seconds or something.
Let's get a wrestling mask for him to wear for a couple of games, and then he got so mad he just took it off the game and threw it out.
Yeah. Well, I always looked behind me if I was ever going to backpedal from that point on. I couldn't lose our big man.
That must be a classic.
I did think that Ben King was the only player that could take Coach Eilers.
Yeah.
I mean, if him and Flood got into an all-out brawl, Ben King's
the one that could do it. Nate ain't going to do that. Nate ain't going to do that.
No. Nate's too soft.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a cuddly teddy bear.
Yep. All right, let's move up to my number 3, Andy. And we touched on him a little bit, but it's got to be Matt Haydenfeld for me. Like you said, 182 career 3-pointers, which ranks 65 in the state in D2. 3-time state qualifier. What really stands out to me, Coach, with Matt is the way that he really molded the next generation of players like me, Bryce, and Derek with that senior season going 12-9, averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds, obviously a first-team All-Stater, and surpassing 1,500 points in his career, and just throw in MVC All-Star Game MVP on top of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I can remember, and I tried not to talk basketball a whole lot at home after practice was over or anything like that. But I can remember his freshman year and his first game, he only had 2 points.
Yeah.
And I had a parent, I'm not going to name names, I had a parent come in and ask him why his kid wasn't playing. And so I took Matt offside. Matt and I still have a great relationship to this day. Obviously, he's my stepson and love him to death. And I said, Matt, I know you can start. But I need you to help me out.
Yeah.
So I don't have parents come down on me. And then the next game he goes off and he has like 33 points. Or something like
yeah. We're gonna have to insert this guy now.
No one questioned.
Yeah, we're gonna have to insert him now. Like you said, he was honorable mention MVC as a freshman, so nobody can really say anything about that. One of the best players of Lynch High School history.
An elite scorer, and he was damn cool. He was cool when he did it.
Yeah, he's definitely, I believe he probably is the coolest person on this list. He's definitely cooler than his older brother. The only person that I would maybe put up against him is Noah Nelson.
Well, I don't, going back to that, Shane and Matt definitely fed off each other during that championship run.
The guards.
And I mean, they were cool. They never got flustered.
Yeah.
And I mean, you talk about, like I said, water bugs. They were pests, and they got over people. And I mean, it was like they could read each other's minds.
Yep.
It was just a fun thing to watch, and I didn't really have to do a whole lot of coaching. I don't want to set my chest here or anything, but I had coaches on the floor that would, you got out of place, they'd put your ass back in place.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't even say that.
When you got those generals on the floor, it takes a little off you, and you can control the sideline a little bit more.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely, and one of the best pure shooters I've ever seen.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep.
It definitely was, and he had he had long range, and I think actually, Jared, I think he made the play. I think he made you the player that you were by the time you were a junior and senior.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what I was going to say a little bit about Matt is that sophomore season, you could tell by the end of the season that, I was kind of coming into my own as a basketball player, and that was really a testament of Matt making me a better player than I was at the time. So, yeah, I really have to give it up to Matt because that is very true, and I'm glad that you pointed that out, Coach.
And I think he led the team in assists that year.
Yeah, no doubt. He led us in everything. Yeah. I think Colby might have led us in rebounds, but other than that, Matt Haydenfeld was the man, and he really is.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, this is pretty tough.
It's throwing stones here. We're not putting anything on you, Coach. This is all on us, and we just want you to give memories about the guys, and we know that you don't put anybody in front of the other.
And I'm going to tell you this right now.
Yeah.
And again, I have so much love for all these kids, and even the ones that that weren't superstars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anybody that played with us.
Yeah.
I can remember some of the stupid things that they would do to get themselves going.
Yeah.
Max Corb.
Yeah, the Corbinator.
He had a knack to say the right thing.
Yep.
If Coach Freeland was in a sour mood, and I'm not trying to talk to the third person, but sometimes I got a little maybe overzealous, and Max Corb would always have that right thing to say.
Yep.
We'd end on a good note.
Yeah, for sure. Never mind. Matt's not the coolest. Max is the coolest.
Max is the coolest. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. King of quotes for sure.
Oh my God, he was so funny.
Yep. So here we go. We're down to the top two, and I think Jared and I have a little disagreement here. But I'll let Jared take the floor, and then, like always, like on our show here,
you'll call
Coach,
me.
I'll call him out. And we'll disagree.
For sure.
You know?
At my number 2, and this was a very hard decision, one of my hardest decisions ever, because I love these guys so much.
Love them.
These are the guys that I really looked up to as a young kid. These are my superstars. These are my heroes. Number 2, Nate Eilers. And when we're talking about an athlete, this guy is an athlete. 1,584 career points, ranked 149th in the state in D2 all-time, 2-time state qualifier, senior year averaged 18 points, 10 rebounds, first-team All-State, Huskerland Player of the Year, MVC, first team. As a junior, averaged 19, almost 20 points, 10 rebounds again, first team All-State, Elite 8, first team MVC, and, just throw it on top of there. He did earn postseason honors as a sophomore as well. Yeah. This guy was the man, made it cool to be from Lynch, first actual, the dunker in the game style guy that everybody wanted to know, the highlight reel, everything. This guy had it.
And beyond that, he served a huge role on my team my senior year. He was our corner 3 man when Ben wasn't on or Ben was playing more of a wing position. Yeah. Nate Eilers he ended up being a pretty much a full-time starter, I believe, as a freshman. Yeah. So and that's something tough to do. And it shows you like you said, his athleticism,
for sure,
his versatility. Just because he was 6'5" or whatever he was his senior year and he played center, that you couldn't just put him as a center.
No.
He was a shooting threat from anywhere on the court. Yep. Great footwork. Coach, I'm going to tell you right now, maybe it's biased and I had time with Nate. I have Nate as my number 1.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you're definitely, you look at both of them and they're interchangeable, I think.
Yeah.
Nate was definitely in the highlight reel. I can still remember when St. Mary's was trying to make a comeback, and Matt passed the ball at the backboard to Eilers and grabbed it and just hammered it 2-hand.
Yeah,
boom.
There you go.
And we go into St. Mary's with a 17-point halftime lead, and that game was basically over.
Yep.
But he was state qualifier. I placed her in the hurdles.
High jump.
Qualified and placed in the high jump.
Yep.
He broke my 300 hurdles record.
Yeah, 300 hurdles.
What a jerk.
It's crazy.
Yep. I think he holds the high jump record too.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
What stands out for me, like my lasting memory of Nate.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the Bob Kemp game, the state championship game. Yeah. He was going to dominate him.
That was easy.
I felt it was.
Yeah.
And he did. He was just faster. He was better. It was a better shot, better around the rim awareness, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
It was the game before, and I believe wasn't that Wausau, Coach?
Yes.
Things got pretty shaky there, and you could just kind of see, I don't want to call it fear in everybody's eyes, but there was some uneasiness, and Nate just said, hell with it. He put the team on his back. He scored like 10, 11 straight points, and from that point on, the Eagles were on cruise control to that state title, but there was that moment there where doubt felt like it was creeping in, and Nate Eilers said, hell with that. I'm Nate Eilers. We're the Lynch Eagles.
I'm the best player.
This is what we do.
Yep.
This is what I do.
Yep.
The ball's getting passed around a little bit more than it usually would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Nate said, no, give it to me here on the high post or give it to me at the 15-foot line.
I'm going to make it work.
I'll get you 2.
There you go.
That's what I remember about Nate is just how he could – in that moment, that time, that I just don't know. That's superstar material. That's just crazy to me.
That's what it is.
And he started as a freshman, and he played a big role for us.
No doubt.
God, I hope Nate doesn't listen to this.
I think he'll be one of our avid listeners of this for sure.
Well, again, that's I love Nate.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time with him, and when his job brought him down to where I live, he got to stay with me. I'm going to hang out. He's actually helped me with a couple practices.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love when that happens. The same with Matt and Seth. Yep. They've all come down, and I throw them into talking to my kids, and so they get to tell some of the Freeland horror stories. And
they wouldn't
I
have done
don't
that.
remember any of them. I thought we had a great time. I thought
it was. There was never any hard times.
Going back to the Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
We're not going to take it. I really think that from Andy's senior year on, that was the mantra.
It was just a tradition. Yeah.
We're here to take care of business, and you're in our way, and our job is to beat you, so that's what we're going to do.
Yep. We're not going to take it and coulda, shoulda, woulda.
None of that. Nate didn't leave any of that up to chance.
Exactly.
He would just take a game, take it over if it needed to be. So,
yep.
Jared, that leaves your number one. Who do we got?
I got
here?
number one here. Number one on Jabron's list is the man, Seth Haydenfeld. My senior. I came in as a freshman. This guy was a senior. Over 1,700 points in his career.
Yeah.
Ranked 84th in the state at D2. Left LHS with 74 wins. Yeah. 3-time state qualifier. Senior year, averaged 23 points, 10 rebounds. First team All-State. Led the state regardless of class with scoring with 609 points as a senior. Junior year, spilled in 15 points for that state championship team.
Yep.
Second team All-State. Cover of Huskerland. Sophomore year, he made Elite Eight. And he also made postseason honors as a freshman. Yeah. So these two, like you said, interchangeable, all starters from day one. These are the two best players in Lynch history, and for the Freeland era for sure. And I really love Seth. The reason I give him the nod is he got it off our back beating Spencer, and he has some more career points, and he led the state in scoring. Regardless of class, that is very hard to do.
Yep.
And he really led us his senior year. And I can just remember being a freshman, how much that helped me become a better player, playing against him every day and just feeling like an idiot with falling for pump fakes and pivots and the way it is.
Yeah, we got you, Coach. Yeah, by that time it was showtime.
It was.
It was showtime. And Seth was the star, right?
Yep.
Oh, I think we lost Coach there.
Yeah. Go into your spiel about Seth as well.
Well, by the time Seth was a senior, it was showtime in Lynch. I mean, they were the LA Lakers. It was cool, and Seth was the centerpiece. I don't think I've seen anybody use his pivot foot as well as Seth, and he would average, I would say, 2 travel calls a game because
he's too good at it.
Yeah, the official was confused.
Yeah, he's just too good at it.
No, yeah, he just kept it live, and it made the defenders look silly, and it made the officials, in my mind, look silly because they would call him for a travel, and he would lay it in and be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, he'd give the
palms up,
the palms up look to Coach Freeland about at least 5 times a game. Should I say anything, Coach? Should I say anything?
No, and Seth could score from anywhere too.
Yeah.
Like he could shoot a 3, he could lay it in. He's just, The
only thing I will say, this kid cannot dunk. That's the only thing I will say that I got over Seth Haydenfeld is he could never slam it.
Well, he could dunk it every once in a while in practice.
Yeah,
he never did it in a game.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
But he did attempt it, if you remember that.
Yeah, I do remember it.
Ooh.
It wasn't good.
Who rebounded and hit a 3 after?
Yep.
Verdigris Holiday Tournament, that's the Bakery layup, goes in for the dunk and it's off the backboard.
Yeah.
Or off the back of the rim.
It happens.
Matt Haydenfeld rebounds it, takes 2 dribbles, and shoots and drains a 3.
Cash money.
And that's that's a unique thing about Seth. We all know he is at such a high level, higher level than most, and we can poke fun at him.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's cool with it. Like that also shows you just the level at which he operates, where he would get called for a travel. He knows, like, no, that's actually 2 points Lynch.
Yeah.
But fine, I'll just shrug my shoulders, get you next time. We're going to win this game anyway. Like, there's that confidence, that coolness, and just the knowing that he is that much better than anybody that's going to try and stop him. Like, I don't think there's a defender. You get him one-on-one, it's over. Seth is scoring, period.
It is. It's over.
And again, going to his senior year, playing at a center because we had to.
Yeah.
There you go.
He was always undersized.
Yeah.
I mean, he would go against 6'5", 6'6", and going back to the state tournament game. The guy that was guarding him was 6'5". He had him on the bench in the first quarter because he had 3 fouls.
Yep.
Because that kid didn't know what happened to him. And I think he ended up that game with like 27 points.
Yep.
I think Nate had 20 or something like that game. I can't remember for sure, but I do remember our big guys, which would be Nate, who was undersized by almost 6 inches, and then Seth was undersized by 6 inches.
Yeah.
And just destroying them.
Yeah.
I mean, with their footwork.
Yeah.
And
fundamentals.
Seth has confidence. It definitely had the most confidence of his athletic ability of any kid that I've ever had. Head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he would definitely back it up. I mean, he said it reminds me kind of a pair, but said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dribble it 3 times right, dribble between my legs, and then off my left hand, I'm going to shoot it and right over your face and hit 3.
Yeah.
And he would do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he had that kind of moxie. I mean, he just did.
Yeah.
And that bled over to the rest of everybody else had that moxie.
Yep.
And I think that's what made that 2003 team so special.
Yep.
Was that they had that. Mm-hmm. And it was something we were missing a little bit. And, but, again, I love all these kids.
Yeah.
And Seth could definitely shoot that dang ball.
Oh, man.
He could.
And he could play defense, too. I mean, it was kind of uncanny at that, too. He'd steal
just
the ball when we needed to steal. And
just a very, very smart player. Just a very, very smart player.
02 through 04, that was showtime.
Yep.
It really was.
It was.
In Lynch, Nebraska, Boyd County as a whole had 3 really good teams, and Seth was at the top of it. He really was.
No doubt about it. And, Coach, that's our team. And like we said, we didn't want to, throw you in any hard spots or whatever and get your, number one or anything like that. But we really appreciate you coming on here. We really just wanted to promote the 03 team, 20-year reunion of that team, and you being a coach of it. We can't wait to see all of our friends this weekend at Alumni and, really get debating on who should be on this list or not.
There we go.
Well, I keep saying that one of these years I'm going to come up there. And
we need you.
I know I need to get up. I really need to get up there. So if I can at all possible, I might try and get up there.
It's the 20th anniversary.
Guys. And,
yep.
I still talk to Perry and Barry.
Oh yeah.
And the Lynch boys and Frank Thompson. One thing about technology is I can talk through them.
Yeah.
I always wish them a happy birthday, Shane and Dallas Carson.
Yep.
Grant Nielsen every once in a while, and Ross brought me all these videotapes that I scored. So
if anybody's wild about not getting on the list, Freeland has the tapes out in Binkelman. That's all you got to do is go out there and pour through the data and really to make your case.
I like it.
Well, I love each and every one of you guys. And
yep.
I really prize my time in Lynch, and I just like these kids down here. I've had some great kids to coach, and proud of each and every one of you. I've coached doctors and lawyers and teachers and broadcasters and
there we go.
Cable barriers.
What do you do?
Each in your own right. I'm damn proud of all of you.
Yes, sir. Well,
Thanks,
like we said, we really thank you, Coach, for jumping on. And I know that all of your players would really like to see you in Lynch. And really thank you for the 12 years you spent there. And we really loved having you there. And that 03 team really stands out as one of the funnest times in Lynch ever. And I know that everybody in Lynch would agree with that. So thank you, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate your time then. Appreciate your time now, Coach.
Thanks, guys. And like I said, I think Andy can. I ran into him down at the state tournament with my Dundee County Strat.
Yeah.
And got to talk to him. And I was actually really excited because I thought he was going to broadcast one of our games.
I wanted to. I asked for it.
Sure.
Unfortunately, they switched venues.
Yeah.
But I thought, man, that would have been one of the pinnacle of my career. One of my former players
broadcasting
one of my games.
It can still happen. We just need you back at state next year, Coach.
And what's even better is I get all these texts from advice on what I needed to do and why didn't you do this.
Yeah.
It was just awesome because like I said, I love to hear from all of you.
For sure.
So, shout out to JJ Pritchett, man.
Okay.
He'd come down here and sell net wrap, and he'd make sure he took time to see his old ball coach. Like I said, that just makes me realize how important teaching is.
Yep.
Coaching.
And the relationships you make.
Just the relationships you build with all these kids. And I'm sure there's some out there that don't like me. I rubbed them all away, but that was never my intention.
No, not on this show. So, you're good, Coach. And like I said, we really thank you for coming on. And we're going to end this and get it out for the guys for this weekend. It's going to be a hell of a time.
A lot of fun.
Okay. Well, don't get in trouble.
Yeah,
there you go. Don't get caught.
Don't get caught.
And
don't
if
get
Alvin
caught.
Please up there, tell him I said hello.
All right. We will. See you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Love you.
See you. Thanks, guys.